welcome to my resource video on manual muscle testing. Before I begin this, I want to acknowledge the Whadjuk Noongar people on whose nation I am doing this, and I want to pay respect to their elders and their cultures past, present and emerging. So moving into today's video, what I want to do is I want to demonstrate a successful manual muscle test on Ellie's elbow flexors. This is Ellie, so hi to Ellie, and she has agreed to demonstrate a 4+ grade in her right arm and a 2+ in her left arm. Obviously, if you're really doing this test, you wouldn't know these things, but for the sake of this video, it's just going to be easy to explain it to you before I test her. So, moving into testing, first thing I want to do is I want to ask Ellie for consent. So, Ellie, what I want to do today is I want to do some muscle testing on you. And the reason I'm doing this is because I am trying to develop exercises that might help, because you've expressed some muscle weakness, so some exercises that might help get you back to normal, daily activities of living. Yeah, does that sound okay?
Yep.
Okay, so if you wouldn't mind, can I have your arm out and can I hold your arm and do some movements? Is that okay?
Yep.
So notice how I've explained what I'm going to do with Ellie. I'm going to explain why I'm doing it and why that's helpful for her. So that's really informed consent, and then I'm also going to ask her for that consent at the end, without saying, can I have your consent? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab here. So I'm grabbing the proximal end of the joint here, or I'm grabbing at the joint so I can stabilize it. And then I'm going to explain the movement to Ellie. So Ellie, what I want you to do is just that movement there. Do you think you can do that?
Yep.
Okay. So this is Ellie's right arm, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to palpate her bicep at the same time so that I can see if there's a palpable muscle contraction. If there isn't one, I can immediately say she is a 0. So Ellie, I'm going to test you for number 3 now, so if you wouldn't mind doing that movement for me, can you do that please? That's great, okay. And one more time. So remember to always repeat your tests so that you have some validity and some reliability with those results. So now I've established you are a grade 3, or you've passed the grade 3. And grade 3 is moving the joint or through full range of motion in a gravity resisted position. So Ellie's demonstrated that today. So what I'm going to do now, Ellie, is I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure. So I'm going to test her for a grade 4, which is a full range of motion against minimal resistance. So can you do that for me, please, Ellie? Okay, that's great. And one more time, please. Notice how I put the pressure of my hand on the distal end of Ellie's joint. This helps me get more leverage, and it's actually just more ergonomical for me. So Ellie, now I'm going to test you for number 5, which is maximal resistance. So I'm going to see if you can move through full range of motion in maximal resistance. So is that okay? Okay, ready? Can you go for that? Okay. And one more time, please. Thank you. So what you've noticed there is that Ellie can't move through that range of motion in the number 5, which is maximum resistance and a full range of motion. So we might have shown that it's possible that Ellie could be between 4 and 5. So what we're going to do is we're going to test that, that's the number 4+. 4+ means somewhere between minimal and maximum resistance. So really somewhere between 4 and 5. So Ellie, I'm just going to apply a little bit less resistance this time. You're going to see if you can do that for me. Can you do that, please? That's great. Thank you. And one more time, please. Thank you. Sorry. And so Ellie was able to do that. Notice that I'm always watching her arm so that I can see the range of motion that's happening. It's important that you recognise the whole range of motion is occurring. So Ellie, I'm going to move on to your left arm if that's okay. And I'm bringing my chair with me because it's good to be able to sit with your patient, be able to talk to the patient, and it also gives me a better angle to be able to do these things on rather than bending over. So Ellie, can I use your left arm this time? So same movement, so is it all good if I touch this one? All good, thank you. So same movement this time. I'll just show it to you one more time. I'm showing you how to bend your arm. So what I want you to do is I'm going to palpate this bicep again. So palpate the bicep for that palpable muscle contraction, and I want you to bend the arm all the way up, just like I just showed you. Okay, can you do that? Okay, so you didn't quite get it that time. Can you try it this time again? Matt, can you try any harder, or is that? Okay, that's no problem. That's totally understandable. So it's always good to give your patient a little bit of encouragement. Maybe it wasn't that great just then, but it is good to give a little bit of encouragement. And so now we've established Ellie is not a number 3 and cannot move through full range of motion in a gravity resisted position. Remember to always start your testing at number 3. This is really important. So now we're going to move on to the number 2, which is a full range of motion in a gravity eliminated position. So to eliminate gravity in the elbow flexors, I'm just going to lift your arm up, Ellie. Notice how her elbow flexor no longer having to work against gravity in this position. So, same motion, just that one for me. Can you please do that again? And I'm not going to provide any resistance against it, okay? Ready? Go. Okay, that's great. And one more time. That's brilliant. So Ellie has got through that full range of motion in a gravity resisted, in a gravity eliminated position, sorry. So now I'm thinking it's possible she's going to be a 2+. So I'm going to provide a little bit of resistance against Ellie. Notice I put my fingers in front of her arm like that, and I'm just going to ask her to do it one more time, and I'm going to provide minimum resistance just to see if there's a little bit more strength in that. Okay, can you please do that movement one more time for me? Okay, that's great. And one more time, please. Probably shouldn't say one more time if you're going to do it again. Okay, thank you very much. So Ellie has passed that, meaning that she is a 2+ patient. So, with this video, I think it's really important to explain some of the key aspects of what just happened there. So you always start at a number 3, okay? And this means that you test if they can move through full range of motion in a gravity resisted position. And this helps you, gives you a baseline to decide whether you're going to go up that scale or down that scale. And then you act accordingly depending on whether they fail or whether they pass that. Remember to always jump in increments of the numbers. So the numbers are really important. So you jump from 3 to 4 to 5. But if they fail one and pass the other, then you will be testing between, so pluses. Another thing to note is that I asked for consent. I explained why I was doing it. Those are some really important things that you should do with any patient and any testing. That's really important. One other thing that I was going to say is you always repeat the motion 2 times. So that's also really important. Just so that you get that validity, that accuracy. So moving on to recording those results now. So as far as recording results go, this is obviously something you're going to put in your SOAPIA notes under your O, or the observation column. So I've said here, manual muscle test reading results for Ellie Hamilton. And I've demonstrated the left is a 2+ and the right is a 4+ in both instances. Both of these are correct and completely fine. You might want to use the table if you're doing a bunch of different muscles bilaterally, but that bottom recording is probably more appropriate in this setting where there's only 2 muscles tested.